Hello, welcome to Stampin' by Hannah. Thank you for joining me today. Today I have a very special card project for you that is fairly quick and easy because I have made 16 of them and I've got another one to make for you today. The ones I've actually made are actually just card fronts, but this is what has gone in my catalogues. So every time I send out a catalogue, I always put something handmade in it. Different a little bit with the annual catalogue, the really big thick one, because it's so heavy that sometimes I don't get to put something special in it. But because we are launching we have just launched a autumn winter catalogue, I thought I would pop a handmade card front in there for you. This catalogue is stunningly beautiful. There are some gorgeous things in it. I'm just going to point out this card on the front here because I just love that. Is a die. That is just gorgeous. We have got loads of fun things in this catalogue. Lots of Christmas. There is a little bit of kind of American-y Thanksgiving stuff in there as well, but I think they are perfect for all year round. There is some Halloween. And there are some good all-occasion type steps in here as well. Things that will see you through all year long. So, shall we see how I put this card together? Like I said, I have made 16 of them for my first run of catalogues. If you want a catalogue, if you haven't got a catalogue yet, if you don't have a demonstrator you work with and you live in the UK and you want a free copy, just pop over to my blog. Link is in the down bar below. Over there, right at the top, there is a button that says request a catalogue. Fill in the form and I'll pop one in the post to you. You can also still order annual catalogues. I've still got some of those as well. So if you want an annual catalogue or an autumn winter one, absolutely your choice. So in my little goodie pack for today, I have got a card base. I'm going to make a full card for this one. So a card base of Sahara sand, already scored in the middle, just need to fold it and burnish it really well. I have then got a piece of Whisper White that I have cut. Normally my mats are 1/2 centimetre shorter and narrow. This one is a full 2 centimetres shorter and narrower than my card base. I've got a scrap of Merry Merlot cardstock. I have got this stunningly gorgeous stamp set. This is Peaceful Noel. This coordinates with a fabulous punch and some beautiful designer series paper, but I'm just using the stamp set today. I have got the most gorgeous colour combination of Sahara Sand, Shaded Spruce and Merry Merlot, and some copper embossing powder. And my favourite punch, I think possibly ever, this is the Everyday label. This is in the annual catalogue, but I'm going to use this twice on this card. So I'm going to, yeah, something really cool with this punch I thought I would share. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make that sentiment piece. So we are going to heat emboss our sentiment. Sentiment says, fill the season with happiness, which I think is lovely. So I've got my piece of Merry Merlot and I'm going to use my embossing buddy just to stop the powder sticking where I don't want it. So I have got quite oily hands, and if I just use embossing powder straight on to my cardstock, the embossing powder sticks where I don't want it to. So if I use that first, that solves that problem. So I'm going to ink up my stamp in Versamark. Versamark is a clear sticky ink that is great for heat embossing, but it's also fabulous if you just want a subtle stamped effect, so it's kind of a tone on tone look, and that would dry like that. It takes a little while to dry because it is like a pigment ink type ink, so it does take a little while to dry. I'm then going to sprinkle some copper embossing powder over the top of that, like so. I keep all my embossing powders in little tubs because I make less mess that way. And a little ice cream spoon. I think these were off Amazon, probably quite a long time ago now. They might not still sell them, I have no idea. So all I need to do now is I need to hit that with my heat gun. So I have the Stampin' Up heat gun. It's the best one I've ever used. I love it a lot. So we're going to heat this up. What I'm going to heat it up off camera and bring it on, and I will show you the powder melting, but I will speed this up and put some music over the top because the noise is horrendous. Are you ready? Okay, so that is now heat embossed in copper onto that piece of Merry Mellow. Now, as you can see, you've still got the kind of white cast of that embossing body. All I'm going to do, of course it's on the floor of this other room, is wipe it off with my trusty microfiber cloth. And all that will come right off and you've got it beautiful again. So then I'm going to take that everyday label punch and use it as intended and punch out that sentiment. So, like so. Now, when I actually made the other versions of these, so the ones that went in catalogues, I actually punched first and then stamped. Just because when you're doing a lot of something, it makes sense to do it that way around. So, that is our sentiment piece. Now, I'm going to take this label punch again. I'm going to take our piece of Whisper White and I'm going to use just the corner. So if you can see, you've got that lovely corner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my piece of cardstock. Instead of going in traditional like that, I'm going to take it in kind of through the back of the punch and just slot it in. You can line it up then with the two uprights and then just punch off that corner. And you get perfect little in-rounded corners, which I think is really fun and a different look to something that I would normally create. So that's really, really quick and easy. And then I'm going to start stamping because I've got a little bit of stamping to do on this. You do need a piece of scrap paper with this card as well, I've got to say. So we've got loads of kind of fun leaves and autumnal kind of leafy prints in this one, and I'm going to just stamp this sprig 3 times. This would, it does have a kind of inner stamp as well, so if you wanted to infill the leaves, there is a stamp for that, but I'm going to leave them open on this one. Then I've got the one that's sort of like a pine leaf. I'm going to stamp it off and then stamp it twice on my card like that. And that's all of the shaded spruce. And this is one of those cards that looks like a mess. It does. It looks an absolute state until you get it all put together. Don't be frightened of going through that. There's always a stage where they just look a disaster. So this is in Merry Merlot, which is a colour that I wasn't sure about when I first received it, but I actually really like it. And then there's an inner stamp for this, so I'm going to stamp these like berries off and then line them up. They don't have to line up perfectly with the stamping underneath, and actually I think sometimes looking with it being a little bit off looks quite nice, so we've got that kind of effect. And then as a final little detail, it still looks a mess, but it's fine, it's going to look beautiful. There's a little trio of dots. I think it's supposed to be holly berries, but I'm going to use them as a trio of little dots for a little bit of extra stamped detail in Sahara Sand. Okay, then I just need some of this. This is quite possibly the most beautiful product in the entire catalogue. This is the Merry Mellow and Copper reversible ribbon. So on one side it's got a beautiful kind of coppery sheen, and on the other side it's flat Merry Mellow. It's just beautiful. I want a piece of that that's just a little bit wider than that piece of Whisper White. So there's only a hint of ribbon really. This ribbon will go a really long way. It is 10 yards long, however 9.1 metres. So you've got plenty of ribbon on there. Now I did use a bit of contraband at this point. Well, no, I'm going to adhere this bit onto the card first with some snail, and then there is a little bit of contraband because I am still working through quite a stash of fast fuse. You could use tear and tape for this bit, but just for speed I'm going to use my fast fuse to adhere that ribbon on just there like that. And then I need 2 dimensionals onto the back of that sentiment piece. And I've got no fingernails this week, so I can't get the backing of my dimensionals. And then that's going to sit over that ribbon just like that, and that is my card. And like I said, I made 16 of these. It took me probably about an hour and a half to make all 16 with the cutting, stamping and everything involved. Which I don't think is too bad. I think they're so, so pretty. They'd look lovely on your mantelpiece this year. Great quick card to send to your friends and family. Like I said at the beginning, if you want a copy of the new Autumn Winter catalogue, I cannot promise that you'll get one of these cards, but there will be a card, handmade card, in your envelope when it arrives with you. If you want one, pop over to my blog, click on that request a catalogue button, and I will pop one into the post to you as soon as physically possible. Thank you so much for joining me here at Stampin' by Hannah. If you would do me the greatest honour of liking, commenting and subscribing while you're here, I would love you forever. And I will see you again very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.